Hello everyone, this is Sean Rickon, aka Saitu. We're with you with the first preview video on this channel. Now, I've been doing preview articles for my blog No Negate for a while now, but I really wanted to be able to get accompanying video along with the articles, so that way for the people who want to watch YouTube videos rather than read a whole bunch of text, they can have this option instead. So today, we're going to start with the red cards from World Tournament, in which case talking into the 25th World Tournament, which is pretty fun. Red definitely made out in Tournament of Power with the cards that they got. Foreseeing it was a monster. You know, Veggie Package got some definite buffs. A lot of good cards from Red in that set. Question is, does it repeat itself here? Let's find out. I'm going to start with Hercule. Now, Hercule, like the last Hercule leader that we got, is a really unique leader, which I love. Because I think we need a little bit more in the way of unique leaders. Now, on his front side and his back side, which we'll see in a second, his power level is one step lower than the usual power tiers. For example, essentially, he's 5k, 10k, whereas the usual is 10k, 15k. This matters a lot. Okay, so, abilities. During this card's battle, if there are cards in your combo area, draw one card and negate this skill for the duration of the battle. Awaken, when your life is at 4 or less, you may draw 3 cards to flip this over. First ability, first thing to note. Very much like your set 2 Trunks, very much like U7 Gohan, comboing, getting a draw for it. Now, unlike Trunks requires your combo card be energy cost 2 or more. U7 Gohan has to be a U7 card. Hercule does not care about that. You combo with anything, you're drawing a card. Also, with the way he's worded, you can actually choose when to draw with it, compared to the other two where you have to do it immediately. I like this sort of version of once per turn because you get to control it a little bit more. And the thing is, it has to be a battle skill. So you can actually just combo 2 things. You don't draw immediately. You combo, and then you take a separate action in your battle step to draw with it. So that's interesting. I don't know how much that's going to come into play, but it's there. Also, his Awaken draws 3 cards instead of 2, which is absolutely fantastic. And going back to the original skill, another thing to note is that unlike the other 2 leaders that I mentioned, he can get the draw on both players' turns. This is absolutely crucial because his defense is pretty ass-tastic otherwise. So having the ability to draw on front side and back side, absolutely fantastic. Should definitely help on both offense and defense. Now moving on the back side. Bundle of Confidence Hercule, typical attack and draw. And he has the same skill as his unawakened side. Again, pretty helpful to have the ability on both his backside and his front side. How viable will he be? Well, when I was doing the article, I figured not very viable at all. I figured he needs to be in an aggro package and just killing people sooner because he sees more cards than a lot of his leaders, so that will give him an advantage. The downside is that he wasn't a blue leader, so he didn't get to use some of the fun stuff. However, as of this video, next month, it's going to get a limited to 1, which takes away a fair bit of the bite. And the reason you use blue leaders in aggro, the other reason is unyielding Spirit and Trunks, is unyielding Spirit and Trunks and 1 blue going to be enough to really be what sells people on using aggro and blue over other leaders? I don't know, but this gives Hercule a bit more of a chance because, for 1, aggro decks are a little bit less good to punch him in the face, and 2, because he's seeing a lot more cards. I don't know how useful he'll be, but he is definitely a sleeper. Do not sleep on Hercule. He has a lot of potential. He has a lot of cards. And I like that Bandai is sort of pushing this sort of unique power tier in the sense of how far can we go until this card sort of thing becomes viable. It means they're more willing to take risks and see, okay, where can we go with like a sort of with 5k power, or where can we go with this kind of ability. That's what I like to see. So even if he doesn't turn out well, I think it's a good step forward for design philosophy for the future. Next, Heroic Duo Son Gohan. Now, he is part of the partner mechanic, but his ability and his card itself is pretty self-explanatory and doesn't really become better with his partner. When you play this card, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with 10,000 power or less and KO it. This is not very good. If you want to shoot something with that kind of power, you're just usually better off playing some Goten Family Justice. So, yeah, you'd rather use Goten. You'd rather use pretty much other cards to get rid of the weenies. this doesn't really do much. It costs too much for what it does. It's not very good. I think it's definitely a hard pass. The only upside is that it's a Gohan, I guess. I don't know how much that'll come into play. Tiny Rivals on Goten. It has a partner in Tiny Rivals Trunks, which was released later. 3-drop 15k barrier. It's okay, nothing special. It'd be better if he actually had something to do on board, but unfortunately, because he is Union Fusion with Gotenks, he needs to be in hand for that. So the barrier doesn't really help him in that capacity at all compared to like Union Potara or Union Absorb. His ability, if you have a Trunks in play, becomes a 20k barrier double striker. Now, I don't think it's all that great compared to something like Kettle and Universal 11 because Kettle can untap at the end of the turn next to Jiren. This, unless you're playing something that untaps as a leader, which is not very many, again, it's only really okay. I don't think it's great. If these two become better, it's going to be because of Trunks rather than Goten, or if something comes along the way that really pushes like Gotenks engine with Goten and Trunks. We'll see. Vegeta Power and Misuse. It's a typical World Tournament 5-life super combo that we've been seeing this entire time. It's something different. In this case, he's Vegeta, so that might come into play later, but for otherwise, nothing special. Same usual stuff. Good for World Tournament leaders. You definitely should be using it, but nothing else to write about. Here's Tiny Rivals Trunks. Same stats all the way around with Goten, except he has critical into the barrier, which is a lot better, especially when paired with Double Strike. 20k Double Strike critical, that is very powerful, and it's very push. The downside is, again, you need Goten for it. And we're at the point in set 4 where just being 3-drop 15k critical just doesn't cut it anymore. I mean, we're seeing where 2-drop 15k critical is not cutting it anymore. So you really need Goten to make them work, and unless, again, we get something that really pushes having Goten and having Trunks, I don't think this will be played, though if something does happen that comes out where it does push it, like say something like an Android leader, but with Gotenks where it lowers the cost of Goten and Trunks, it's going to be very good. But until then, keep an eye out for it, but I'm not really sold on how good it is right now. Mighty Max Power Combined. Now, compared to the Majin Vegeta we just saw earlier, this is actually one of the most neat cards that we've seen. In the sense that I think this is the first time that we've had 2 different super combos for the same color in the same set. So that's interesting. And this is really the first time that Red's received a truly unique super combo, because unlike all the other colors in set 2 and set 3, Red only got Giru, which is exactly the same as any other super combo. The only difference is that it was a machine mutant instead of a god. So yeah, not that big a deal unless you happen to play Mew or play Baby. This is truly unique. It's very similar to Hoi from Hirudegarn, where you use a zero combo, you pitch a card, and then you get 2 cards. The difference is instead of getting 2 draws, you get to search specifically for a red Goten and a red kit 15k or less power, add them to your hand, and shuffle the deck. Now, that's honestly a lot worse than Hoi, simply because draw 2 is generally better because you're getting more better card quality. However, if Goten and Trunks get a lot more pushed cards in the future, this becomes absolutely insane, just like how the original Mighty Max was, where it could get a whole plethora of different options. Now, the downside with this is that it can't really get all the options that its predecessor could, though the green super combo and like Unmuted Spirit and Trunks, you can't actually use them anyway, so the best options, you really can't use them on Max regardless. But this has a lot of potential for the future. Right now, I don't think it's very good. In the future, it could be absolutely insane depending on what Goten and Trunks get in red. Also, for the casuals who really want to play like this pure Goten deck, which I see a couple of people asking about, well, this is everything you could ask for and more. Also, it did receive an errata, but it was just to say get the Trunks and Goten from the deck. So it's just a small, they messed up on the wording of errata, no big deal. Secret Treaty Android 18. When I switch to active mode, the rest mode with Secret Treaty Hercule, draw a card. I'll talk about this with Hercule. Choose this card in one World Tournament in your battle area, switch to the rest mode, draw a card, and you can combo with this card even if it's rested. Now, compared to Master Roshi and Master Shen from Yellow, this is a lot better. Because Roshi and Shen, they are useless on their own. They put them on board, we don't have the other one, they don't do anything. You put 2 Roshis on the board, they don't do anything without another Shen. This Hercule's always relevant until as soon as you put any other World Tournament on board with him. Just draw a card. Not the best, but still decent. Also, the fact that you can combo with him from rest mode is fantastic. It's always good to be able to get value out of him and then still be able to combo with him later. Especially great with Hercule later, where you can have this, tap it down with something else to draw a card, and then swing with Hercule or when you get swung back at. And then Hercule, you can combo with this, draw your card, pretty good. So you probably want to do it on offense because Hercule's ability only goes off if Hercule himself is in the battle. So Hercule leaders himself in the battle. Still, compared to the design of Master Roshi and Master Shen, I like this a lot better. And then 18 is Pals Relative to giving you an extra draw. I don't know if 18 will see play just to get the extra draw. That seems a little bit ambitious, but I wouldn't outright overrule the possibility of seeing it. There's always potential where, you know, maybe Galactic Emperor Frizzle X is better than the other stuff you can play in that deck. I think it has potential. And again, I like the design a lot better than the last design that we have with Master Roshi and Master Shen. Heroic Duo Videl. One drop, 1k, typical combo stats. This is a godsend for red. More specifically, non-Saiyan leader red. Because the biggest issue with red was, unless you're playing a Saiyan leader or a U6 leader, which all three also happen to be Saiyans, all you really had to work with was Violence Assistance unless you went outside the color. That was okay, but for the most part, Violence Resistance was just a normal negate in a lot of scenarios. It wasn't good. Videl gives red a U7 Roshi, which is fantastic. Now, it's not as searchable as U7 Roshi for the time being because, you know, you don't have, you know, Universe 7 representative or anything like that, but it's still quite good. And red is definitely going to be appreciative of having Videl as a new negate option, especially coming now. So that's fantastic. And then, if you happen to be playing Gohan for whatever reason, it becomes a 10k, which is not nothing when you're playing this as a counter. Like, being able to have a counter and then having a 10k body on board, it's not the best thing in the world, but it certainly can be relevant. But I don't think it's worth playing Gohan for, but if for whatever reason Gohan caught fire, that's the ability that would be relevant. But this is the design I like. The card is great on its own, and then becomes even better with the bonus if you get a specific card on board. This, I think, is where the design of the partner duo should have been to begin with. It makes you question, so sort of like how Tournament Require questions the difference between the design of Maidens versus the design of Trio of Dangers, sort of communication between colors, and when it comes to the design process during a second construction. I don't know how it is exactly, but I'd certainly like to hear more about it, because this is just another one of those sets where I really sort of raised my eyebrows at, okay, why is this design better than others, even though the design should, in theory, be the same. Hidden Power E Supreme Kai. I'm going to call it for what it is. Another Further in Destruction Champa. It's the exact same card all the way through, only with two main differences, maybe three main differences. One, he's a Supreme Kai. That's the searchable by Grand Supreme Kai. I don't know how relevant that will ever be, but it's there. Number two, he's World Tournament. Again, I don't know how relevant that will be, but it is there. If we got more searches for World Tournament, that can be very relevant. Number three, he's a 2-drop body compared to Further Destruction Champa's 3-drop body. Also, Champa, I believe, is 16k to the 15k, but that's entirely irrelevant because you should never be playing either of those cards on board. I think this can replace Champa in the sense that they're the same cards. I don't think you're really missing out one way or the other. It's going to be cheaper or at least less annoying to get than Champa. The real question is, do you play this alongside Champa? What I mean is this the type of redundancy where you enjoy it because it's like Champa's 5 through 8? I don't know how many decks really want that kind of redundancy, because Champa's is a expensive card in the sense that having to spend that energy to get the double strike and not being great on the crack pack is not the most fantastic thing. Maybe Super Saiyan 3 decks can make use of it. I don't know. Maybe Vegeta, maybe Matt Saiyan. I think you'll see it, if nothing else, just as people who don't have Champas, you can get this instead. The real question is, will it be seen play if more copies with Champa, where it's like you have 5 to 8 between them rather than just having the 4 Champa max. I don't know yet, but the possibility is there. Now to the two cards I think are the absolute highlights of the non-super rare red cards in this set, and possibly of the entire set right now, just as non-super rare cards. Never thought I'd be saying that about Bob. Well, maybe I shouldn't say that because we had that 6-drop Bobbity, which was annoying for a while. So, we're going to start with Dark Duo Bobbity. A 3-drop of 5K is, well, to be frank, really terrible in stats. Barrier was okay, actually will be relevant for a reason I'll explain with a little bit later. Its effect. If your later card is red, you play him, you can untap one of your red battle cards with 15k or more power. That has the potential to be really good. I mean, Toa is seeing a modicum of play just being able to untap a Trunks, untap a Kaba. Bobbity gets to do that without needing the Overrun. Yes, you need to pay 3 for it. So, but it's just irrelevant because, remember, Trunks and Kaba keep their power until end of turn. So they are considered 15Ks. So that's great from Bobbity. And there's just also a whole bunch of other potential that could be seen with this card. Like, for example, with something like Proud Spark, or what was the card? Vados. Forget the entire name of the card right now. Where it was the one where you could look at top 3 play 3-drop or less. Alien. Now you get a 3rd attack because he gets a Super Seed dual attack. So there's a lot of real potential with abusing Bobbity and some other cards that get abilities from attacking or just strong attackers in general. On top of that, because he's Bobbity, Umbral Blade Deborah from the Ultimate Box gets a lot better because this is a barrier Bobbity compared to the 6-drop, which was way too late and way too slow now, and Leader, which is just outright terrible. This is a decently priced, decently solid Bobbity that will make Umbral Blade Deborah a little bit more worth playing because, let's be honest, 35k double strike dual attack is insanely strong. I mean, we have people playing Kefla more for the draw than anything, but that's 30k and 35k with no double strike, where you're mostly doing it for the draw. Umbral Blade Deborah, you could be doing it for the absolute pain. A lot of potential there, but Bobbity even then is only the secondary to the real centerpiece of the deck of the set so far. Dark Duo Deborah. It's a 4-drop 20k with no offensive stats. It's whatever. When you play this card, you choose up to 2 cards in your opponent's hand, send them to the warp. I have Foreseeing Hit. Here's the thing about this card compared to Foreseeing Hit. It has some upsides and it has some downsides. Let's start with the downsides. It does not have double strike compared to Foreseeing Hit. That does matter. Being Deborah compared to Hit, slightly less rough and slightly not as good because you don't get to play Lightning Bash Hit. But that's really just kind of niche. It's not a big deal. Also, you don't, like I said, you don't get to look at the hand. And if the opponent kills the Deborah, they can get the cards back technically a little bit earlier. That being said, his upsides far outweigh his downsides compared to Foreseeing Hit. Not that I think Foreseeing Hit is going to drop off in play. They'll probably be seeing play right alongside this. For one, yes, you don't get to see the opponent's hand, but you get to hit any 2 cards in their hand. That includes extra cards. A lot of SS3 decks were going to more extra card abuse, more extra card negates over Roshi because of Foreseeing Hit just being able to snap the battle cards. So your defense could be a little bit more assured knowing that you have a lot more extra cards that Foreseeing Hit can't get at. Your crackback turns may be a little less good, but it was a lot more important to make sure you survive that turn. Deborah, it's a little bit more wonky in the quality of card you get, but you're getting 2 cards. So it kind of throws that back at people going for extra cards more in their faces. Secondly, yes, while you can get the cards back technically a little bit faster, so really not that much faster, if you kill the Deborah, in most cases it will not matter because you're using resources to kill him, so in most cases it's going to be the same around the same time frame that you get the cards back as you were with Hit. If they do not kill the Deborah, those cards are gone permanently. What can I say? That's absolutely insane. Especially since if you have Bobbity on board that has barriers, it's even harder to get rid of. The card is just so push. It's, and I even see play over Foreseeing Hit. I'm not sure because Foreseeing Hit's ability to look into the hand is just absolutely strong. But Dark Duo, the board, making sure that you lose 2 cards. If you don't deal with them immediately, you're just not getting those cards back. This can definitely build up and ramp really fast. It can get out of hand very fast, and I'm sure it's going to be a definite hand control deck out there running Deborah, running Foreseeing Hit. If you're just not running them in general, where it's just like, okay, you're just never going to have the card quality that you want in hand. Deborah is just going to be a nightmare, and it's going to suck for you. Card's insane. What more can I say about it? This card will... Oh, and here's the best part about this, too. It's a common! It's a freaking common card. You expect this card's quality to be on a rare at the very least. It's a common, which means this thing's going to be pennies on the dollar. So you have no excuse not having your playset. which is another good thing about this card. If you don't have the money to get foreseeing hits, right now they're going for 15s, and they're probably going to be going up. Get Dark Duo Dubor instead. If you can't get the redundancy, get 4 of this. You probably get it at around a quarter. Maybe it'll cost you $1. Absolutely insane card. Nothing more I can say about the card. It's fantastic all the way through. Take the Power Sport Evolution Yamu. Card is okay. Okay, no. Okay, so for the archetype it works in, it's good. Because you're only using it for one reason. You're using it in Bobby Leader. In which case, it sets off Bobby Leader immediately. Here's the downside. Bobby Leader is still the worst leader in the game. This does not change that. This does not change any part of that. So, yeah. The leader's bad. That deck is bad. This doesn't really make things all that much better. I commend Bandai for really trying to make that work. It's not going to work. Just let it go. Please. Play Magician's Lackey. I was talking about this earlier. It's a 2-drop 15k critical. I don't know if that's getting the job done anymore. If they already got the job done beforehand, and really something like Quick Rush Trunks was seen play a lot more because of the Trunks GT name, rather than the fact that it was a 2-drop critical, just gave it a decent body. On its own, this is just simply not good enough. Why would you play this over Quick Rush Trunks? You play it alongside Quick Rush Trunks, but it's whatever. I guess the best thing about this card, which I didn't mention in the article, is that it is an alien, so that Vados card, if that Vados deck ever comes to fruition with, you know, a bunch of aliens, this would see play in there, but I don't know, that's kind of being optimistic. Razor's Edge Yakon. Now, I like this card, even though I don't think this will see any play, simply because it's one of the more unique cards that we've seen, where it just has so much flavor in reference to the show, where Yakon, I don't know if you saw the fight with him and Goku, he would eat ki, and he would just become more and more powerful, though Goku, realizing that, just overwhelmed him with too much ki, and then he just self-destructed. It's basically that. He gets cards, he gets more powerful, eats too many cards, he's dead. So the maximum power we can get him up to is 30k, which on a 2-drop is fantastic. Problem is, he's extremely volatile, and generally just not very good at what he's supposed to be doing. You get one attack off of him being big, and then he's just dead. Kind of bites. Still, I like the design. I like the card, even though we won't see any play. I just like them pushing the boundaries a little bit more. And the last card to be revealed from today is Bobby's Spaceship. In theory, this card could be absolutely insane because it's a once per turn for free potential card advantage engine. The issue is outside of the boards, which we have Dark Duo, and now I guess Umbral Blade if we're going to go that far. The card quality you get from this is not good at all. Like, Pui Pui, as we just said, it's okay, but nothing you really want to be grabbing. Yakon's not good. And then you only get to look at top 1, which to its credit, is a good thing. Looking at top 3 for these cards with basically no restriction whatsoever would be absolutely too much. But the downside to this card, other than the ones I just mentioned, is that you only look at top 1, and then if it's anything other than the cards mentioned on this card, you put it to the bottom. So yeah, if like you want a foreseeing hit and you go into board but you find foreseeing hit, it goes to the bottom. You know you need a foreseeing hit. So it makes it. This has the potential to be really insane if we get better Pui Puis, get better Yakons rather than now. I don't think you need Deborah's that bad to be playing this card when, in most cases, it's just a worse scry. So I think that holds it back. Again, if you get Deborah's, get better Pui Puis, get better Yakons, this card could be absolutely busted. Until then, it's alright. So the main takeaways from Red in World Tournament, or Super Rares, is that, well, let's say it again, Dark Duo Deborah. Card's absolutely insane. Card's absolutely insane. You absolutely should be playing a playset of it. No doubt about it. If you're not playing a playset of it, you should be playing some kind of 6 to 8 with foreseeing hit. The combination between the two is just too powerful. It might actually be enough to make Bobby see play, though I think Bobby might actually get play in other sort of deck shells made for him to like abuse attack triggers or something like that. I think there's actually potential for Bobby on his own, which is kind of neat, where it's like these two, I know Deborah's Snap and Bobby has some gas, but I think they have gas in different complete shells rather than with each other, where I think they're looking for 2 different things, but there's potential there too. You know, Supreme Kai's whatever, Fidel's fantastic, but for the most part, I like what Red was doing this set. I enjoy it. I hope we get something like this again for blue. But I wish the rest of the design of the set was like this, because there are very few bad cards in here. At most, it's just like they're trying to go with the archetype and didn't work out, but still, I like the design a lot better for red in here. I'm going to pick up a playset of the Burrows almost immediately. And yeah, not much else to say about this. Next time, we're going to be looking at blue. We're going to go to the future. We're going to go to that last little tournament at the end of Dragon Ball Z before going into GT, or the thing, yeah, the last tournament before GT, or otherwise known as the epilogue after DB Super, I guess, whichever you want to look at it, because it still technically takes place after DB Super. Nothing else to say. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe if you can to my channel. Subscribe to my No Negate blog. I will be putting this video up on the blog alongside the article. I hope to see you guys next time. I am out.